Hey, it's Keisha. Welcome and welcome back. We are on process 6 in Ask and Is Given. And so let's go ahead and begin by starting with our tapping and meditation. So just go ahead and close your eyes and let it out. Another deep breath in and out. Another deep breath in and out. With each breath, begin to feel yourself more and more present in your body. Gently and lovingly recall all of your power back to yourself. Notice how you're made more whole. And now begin to release any cares, concerns, worries, thoughts, dramas. The to-do list. Just release that on an exhale. And place it all into a basket just out in front of you, slightly above your head. Empty your mind of those thoughts and put them all in the basket. And when your mind is clear and your basket is full, just see a gentle, sweet being come and take the basket. You can ask them to hold it for you for safekeeping. You can ask them to go through the basket and resolve any issues that they can, and dispense with any that don't serve. But know that the things in the basket are being taken care of, so you can release them now. Turning your attention away from the basket, trusting that it's all handled. Turn your attention back to yourself, in your body, in this moment, at this time and space. If you feel like there's anything attached to you, just release that attachment and have it return back to source. Likewise, if you feel attached to anything, release that attachment and allow it to go back to source. You should now be full in your own power, clear in your mind, unfettered and free. Breathe that in. Now see a column of white light gently descend down over you. Breathe in that light. Notice how the light is moving in between the cells of the body. Notice it's quickening each cell as it touches it. You are now infused with light, barely distinguishable between the light. Continue to breathe. And now gently take your essence and rise up that column. You're a being of light rising up higher and higher, freer and lighter. Out of the bonds of the earthly plane. Freer and lighter you continue to rise. Notice how you're in a space of pure potentiality, a space of oneness and of creation. Infinite possibilities, infinite resources. And now begin to settle into that space in the sacred grove. Find your tree, get comfortable in your seat. With your heart open and your mind open, gently open your eyes. Feels pretty good. So, well, before we begin with process 6, if you have been watching, if you've seen the shorts this week, you know that I put up 3 regarding some of the different blessings and experiences I've had with the prosperity game that we've been practicing using our checkbook registers. So yes, indeed, the money is flowing. The process is working. I definitely encourage you to begin the practice if you haven't already. Continue the practice if you have started. As I mentioned to you in the previous video, I'm committing to do this for a year. That idea of spending $66 million is just too enticing to pass up over something that's entirely too easy to control. So I will be doing that, and it's coming pretty quickly in a large amount, so I'm pretty psyched. If you haven't seen those videos, I definitely recommend. They're short, so they're all less than a minute. In fact, I think the last one's like 35 seconds. And that's just how fast your good can come to you, really. So yeah, if anyone needs checkbook registers, you can find them at any bank branch. You don't have to be a member of the bank. You just walk in and ask for a checkbook register. I recommend that you do that sooner rather than later, and maybe often, to get as many as you can, especially if this is a process that you're enjoying and want to continue. Target, one of the last major retailers, is going to stop accepting checks if they haven't already. And, fewer and fewer places will be accepting checks as we move into the future. So as those checks diminish in circulation, so will access to those checkbook registers. So this is one thing I would definitely say stockpile if you're enjoying this exercise. It's something I plan to do. I just haven't been able to get to a bank this week. But yeah, so all things good on that front. Let us now move into process 6 in our sweet little book here. Process 6, the process of meditation. When to use this process? When you want relief from resistance. When you want an easier way of immediately raising your vibration. When you want to raise your general level of vibration. When you want to feel an awareness of your inner being. Meditation will be of most value to you when your current emotional set point is somewhere between 1, joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation, and 22, fear, grief, depression, despair, powerlessness. And if you recall, there are 22 steps of emotions on the emotional ladder. So basically what this is saying is meditation is good for all states. However you are feeling, meditation will raise you up. So if you're feeling great, there's more for you. If you're feeling low, it'll bring you higher. So meditation is good for all moments. I'm not going to read through the whole list of emotions. You can find them in the description box. I have them listed, and they're listed on every video in the description box, so you can always refer back to them if you want to see the specifics. But in this case, you don't really need the specifics. I mean, it's nice to identify how you're feeling so that you can see what identify where you are before you meditate, and then check in afterwards to see where you are so that you can see that lifting and vibration. That can be helpful in just confirming for yourself that it's working if the feeling itself isn't enough. But yeah, that's where you can find that list. Any thought you continue to think is called a belief, and many of your beliefs serve you extremely well. Thoughts that harmonize with the knowledge of your source, and thoughts that match the desires that you hold. But some of your beliefs do not serve you well. Thoughts about your own inadequacy or your unworthiness of examples of those kinds of thoughts. Now, with an understanding of the laws of the universe and some willingness to deliberately choose thoughts, you can, in time, replace all hindering beliefs with life-giving beliefs. But here is a process that can give you the immediate benefit of changing over beliefs in a much shorter amount of time. And this process is meditation. We playfully tell our friends that the reason we teach the process of meditation is because it is easier for most of you to clear your minds having no thought than it is for you to think pure positive thoughts. No need to be a smartass here, Abraham. Just tell us the information. For when you quiet your mind, you offer no thought. And when you do so, you offer no resistance. And when you have activated no resistant thought, the vibration of your being is high, fast, and pure. And that's going to be your maximum state of manifestation, right? Imagine a cork bobbing up on a body of water. That represents you, that represents the place of pure, high, fast vibration that is generally natural to you. Now, imagine holding the cork down underwater. That is what resistance is like. And now imagine letting go of the cork, right? And see that it rises right back up to the surface. Like the cork, naturally floating on the water's surface, it is natural for you to experience a high, fast, pure vibration, free of any hindering resistance. And like the cork, if you're not doing something that holds you down under the water, you'll bob right back up to the surface where you belong. In other words, you do not have to work at being in the high vibration state, because that's your natural state of being. But you do have to stop holding thoughts that cause you to remain in a lower vibration. It is a matter of no longer giving your attention to the things that do not allow your cork to float, or do not allow you to vibrate in harmony with who you really are. A decision is the focusing of the vibration of desire, and the decision point happens when the desire is powerful enough. The only discipline that we would like you to exercise is to make a decision that nothing is more important to you than you feel good, and that you are going to find thoughts that feel better. Your cork floating is the only thing that is worthy of discipline. Now, to begin the process of meditation, sit in a quiet space where you're not likely to be interrupted. You want to be in comfortable clothing. And it doesn't matter if you're in a chair or on the floor. You can lie in your bed unless you're concerned about falling asleep, which does happen. I don't recommend, so if you're doing morning meditation, that you wake up and then decide to meditate by lying down in bed, because you will fall back asleep. So best to get up. And if you're sitting on the floor, sitting in a comfortable, either cross-legged or straight-legged position, whatever works best for you. If you're sitting in a chair, I definitely recommend putting both feet firmly on the ground so that you are grounded. But whatever is going to be comfortable for you to sit in for a period of time would be ideal. Now close your eyes, relax, and breathe. As your mind wanders, and it will wander, gently release those thoughts and just come back to your breath. You are by nature one who wants to focus. So in the beginning, the process of meditation will feel unnatural, and you'll find your mind wandering or wanting to return to the things that you've been focusing on previously. When that happens, just relax, breathe, and try to release the thought. We always want to just come back to the breath. Don't beat yourself up about, I can't do this. I can't focus. No, just let it go and turn back to your breath. Just let it go and turn back to the breath. You'll find it easier to choose your mind if you choose small thoughts that have the potential for don't have the potential for expanding into anything greater or more interesting. So that's why we say turn back to the breath. Because if I send you to focus on the drip of the faucet, you'll think, okay, so why is the faucet dripping? Okay, now I got to call the plumber. Oh shit, that's more work for me to do. You know what I mean? Like one thought trails into the next. But if I just tell you, just go back to your breath, just hear the inhale and the exhale, feel that in your chest, feel that in your nostrils, just pay attention to your breath. Eventually in time, your mind will start to quiet. So I want to take a minute here just to leave the text and just talk to you a minute about meditation. Because often if people don't have a regular practice, the first thing they say is, I can't meditate. No, I've tried. It just doesn't work for me. I can't do that. And what I will say to you is, no, that's simply not true. You simply haven't wanted to dedicate yourself to the practice of meditation enough that you've given yourself the time to get over the initial discomfort of being unable to quiet your mind. Because of the way, I'll come back to that later. It is uncomfortable at the beginning. Our minds are going to trail off, and it's going to take some time for you to learn how to bring your attention back to your breath and quiet the mind and make it still. And you'll find if you set your timer for 10 or 15 minutes, you may have spent the whole 10 or 15 minutes coming back to your breath. That's actually progress. That's not a reason to give up. You just have to keep at it and stay with it until that discomfort lessens. But that takes time and it takes discipline. So it's not that you can't, it's that you just haven't, wanted it badly enough to see your way through that difficult moment. There is also no such thing as I don't have time. I don't have time to meditate. I will tell you that for anybody that says I don't have time to meditate, that's when you are definitely the person that needs it, and that's when you need it the most. And it's proportional. So how angry you get or how heated you get about I don't have time, that's just how much you need it. And I hope that knowing that the next time you tell yourself that and you notice how vehemently you're like, no, you stop and remember that I'm saying this to you, and that you come back to it and be like, okay, know what? I do need to do it, because the difference you will feel is exponential. You can actually stop and quiet the mind, in less than a minute. Now, I'm not saying that our meditations are going to be a minute or less, but it is possible to stop and quiet the mind. I once did an exercise with a group of friends at work, and all of them were like, no, we don't have time to meditate. And I was like, let me just show you. So I led them through a meditation. And at the end, I asked them, because when we were done, everybody's energy had completely changed and they were all relaxed and focused. And I went around the room, how long do you think that meditation was? And they were like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, right? And I'm like, no, that was 2 minutes. 2 minutes. But it felt like an eternity. It felt like a substantial amount of time. So it's not that you don't have time. Again, it's one of those things where you haven't made the decision that it's important enough. You just haven't, you haven't made it a priority. And, language is important here, because when you say, I can't meditate or I don't have time, you're not leaving yourself an option, which you think is cute and convenient. But if you're actually, going to start to hone in on the discipline, what you need to recognize, if you're going to say, I can't meditate, it's, I haven't given myself enough time to get comfortable with it. If you're saying, I don't have enough time, it's that you haven't made it a priority. So rather than saying those things, you need to say, I haven't gotten comfortable with it, or I haven't made it a priority. Because if you are precise and exact and honest in your language, then from that space you have taken accountability, and you now have the personal power and agency to change it and do something differently and choose differently. But if you just write it off as, I don't have enough time, then there's nowhere to go from that, and that will keep you stuck in that lower vibration. Back to the text. Okay. This is not a process where you work on your desires. Okay. So all these other processes that we've done, it's about, what do I want? How do, what do I want? What do I want? No, this is about getting quiet. We're not asking for anything. We're not looking for anything other than peace and silence. This is not a process where you work on your desires, but instead it is one of quieting your mind. As you do so, any resistance will subside and your state of vibration will rise to its natural, pure state. As you quiet your mind, you may feel a sense of physical detachment. For example, you may feel no difference between your toe and your nose. Sometimes you'll feel a sensation of twitches and itches beneath your skin, like your skin's crawling and, it's all distracting. Just turn your attention away from it. You might touch your shoulder or wherever it is that it's happening. But know that it will subside and just, again, go back to your breath. Often, once you've released resistance and you're soaring in your natural pure vibrations, you will feel an involuntary movement in your body. Sometimes my arms or my leg will jerk. It happens. It's just, stress leaving the body. You might sway from side to side or backward and forward. Your head might roll slightly from side to side. You might feel a sensation of movement or a yawn. All of these sensations or movements are indications that you have achieved a state of meditation. So don't be put off by them and irritated by them, because they're the signs that it's working, that you're getting into that deeper state. And again, the more you practice, the better at it you will get, and those sensations will go away. Your point of attraction will now have changed and your state of allowing will be in place. Things that you've been asking for, all of which have been given, are now flowing gently into your experience. Yay! And as you come out of your state of meditation, this state of allowing will continue until you focus upon something that changes your vibrational frequency. Okay? So if you encounter other people and encounter other stresses, you'll be able to meet them at that higher vibration. And as long as you don't assume the negativity of the situation that you're in, you'll stay in that state of vibration, a higher vibration. And you will find that you will actually be bringing more of yourself to these situations, and they'll be less irritating. With enough practice, those higher frequencies will become so familiar that you will be able to reclaim them whenever you choose. Over time, if you meditate regularly, you will become quite sensitive to the way the higher frequencies feel within your body. In other words, whenever you focus on anything that causes a dip in your vibration, you will now be more likely to recognize it at an earlier, subtle stage before the dip is too significant. And you'll be able to easily change your resistant thought in order to maintain your balance. Remember, everything that we've been talking about so far has been being aware of our emotional state, right? And so if you notice that you're slipping, you can come back to the breath and then move back into that higher state. Sometimes people say, Abraham, is it normal for all hell to break loose in someone's life when they begin the meditation process? And we say, yes, because you're bringing yourself to a place of heightened sensitivity so that your formerly achieved patterns of lower vibration are now less comfortable to you. I don't know that this has ever been my experience, but I wanted to make sure I read that for those of you for whom that will be the experience, so that you're able to recognize it when it happens. That's going to be the sign that it's working. But things will calm down, things will settle down, and we have other processes and hundreds of other videos to teach you how to move through those moments. So every day for 10 to 15 minutes, you want to just sit quietly where you're not going to be disturbed and begin to close your eyes and just begin to focus on your breath. Now, I will say that opening meditation that we did and that we do in pretty much all of my videos, today's meditation was roughly 7.5 minutes, something like that. Different videos, it may be a little bit shorter than that. So you can always tap into the beginning of any of my videos if you want to have a guided meditation. Interestingly enough, I was talking to somebody this week that she watched one of my videos and was like, oh, I didn't know you did guided meditations. And I'm like, yeah, in fact, I've been thinking about adding more of those to the channel and recording more videos. So it's synchronous. I think that this is the process for this week. So over the next 2 weeks, while we're waiting to do the next process, I will work on recording a few different guided meditations, hopefully of varying lengths, just to give you some different options. Yeah, I think that'll be helpful. I realize I've talked more than the book is written, and so there's not really a need to read it. Meditation, this is the state of allowing where for just a few minutes you can stop running the show. It's just giving you time to quiet and to allow, as opposed to you always moving forward. 15 minutes of effort will change your life because it will allow the energy that's natural to you to flow. You will feel better in the moment, and you will feel more energized when you come out of it. And sustained practice will see long-term benefits. A big thing that you'll notice right away is that more of what you've been wanting will show up, because now you're in a higher vibration. You're in that state of allowing. So all those things that have been held in resistance, or you've been holding in resistance, will now come to you. Even though you didn't sit and intend, it still flows. And, the question often comes, well, what if I've been negative for a really long time? Is 15 minutes really going to be enough? Yeah, it is, because it's not about undoing the past. It's about allowing the future, right? It's allowing now in the present. It's akin to this concept in dieting about adding as opposed to restricting and taking things away. So we'll just add more fresh juices. We'll just add more raw, fresh vegetables. We'll add more water. And as you're adding more and more, then the negative dietary choices, you'll be making less of those, making fewer of those. And so in time, you will have changed your lifestyle with regard to your diet and food. And meditation is much the same way. It's not about not having those negative thoughts. It's about spending time cultivating more positive ones and cultivating that space to just allow yourself to be and quiet the mind. And so even if you've developed major habits of negativity, yes, 15 minutes a day will turn that around. What could you accomplish in 30 days? Do you know that you could have every deadly disease known to man, and some that haven't even been discovered yet, in your body right now, and tomorrow it could all be gone if from one day to the next you learned how to allow the energy to flow. Remember, we are in a stream of well-being that is always flowing. We're really not encouraging those types of quantum leaps because they can be uncomfortable, but we are encouraging that every day you be selfish enough to say, nothing is more important than that I feel good. And I'm going to find ways to do so. I'm going to begin my day by meditating and bringing myself into alignment with Source. And as I move through the day, I'm going to look for opportunities to appreciate, so that all day long I'm bringing myself back into Source energy. If there's an opportunity to praise, I'm going to praise. If there's an opportunity to criticize, I'm going to keep my mouth shut and try to meditate. Right? Within 30 days of mild effort, you can go from being one of the most resistant people on the planet to being one of the least resistant. And then those who are watching you will be amazed by the number of manifestations that begin to occur in your physical experience. I have a regular practice, and I'm looking forward to engaging with it more consciously this week, because this is our exercise, or these next 2 weeks, because this is our exercise. So, my process, or my practice is just going to deepen and skyrocket. So I'm pretty excited about that. We see you from an aerial view, and it's like you're standing on the one side of a closed door, and on the other side are all the things that you've been wanting, just leaning up against the door, waiting for you to open it. They've been there for you from the first moment you asked for them. Your lovers, your perfect bodies, your ideal jobs, all the money that you could imagine, all the things that you've ever wanted, things little and things small, or things little and things big, things that you would call extraordinary and significant, and things that you would not call very significant at all. Everything that you have ever identified that you've ever wanted will be lined up right outside the door. We just need to meditate to open it. Last little note, I strongly encourage you to try meditating without aids first, especially if you're new to the practice. It is going to be uncomfortable at first, and it just will be. And that's because it's new, and it's counter to everything about the way we move and think in our society. We think in order to accomplish something, we have to do something. Meditation is going to ask that you not do anything, that you sit quietly and breathe. But stick with it. Guided meditations certainly have their place, and they do serve a purpose. If you have a mix you know, use some of the guided meditations that I provided, like the ones at the beginning of the video, the ones that I'll record this week. But also do try, you know, 3-4 times a week to meditate on your own. It will be uncomfortable at first, but it will become less comfortable the more you practice it. It's kind of like when you step into a cold pool. Sometimes it's just better to just jump right in, right? Because if you try to tiptoe your way in, you're going to feel how cold it is at every step, and that might encourage you to, I don't want to swim that badly. No, we're swimming, baby. We're swimming. So just jump right in. The water's fine. And I think I'll leave you with that. Thank you all for the comments, your likes, and your shares. Thank you all for your attention and your eyeballs, and yeah, for hanging out with me during these videos. I love you and I appreciate it. We'll do this for 2 weeks and then come back and look at our next process. In the meantime, if there is any new developments, anything exciting, any kind of updates, of course, I will put those up. And also be looking to put up a few guided meditations to help you throughout these 2 weeks as well. So be on the lookout for that. Any questions, any comments, definitely leave those in the comments below. And I'll see you all good people in 2 weeks. Peace. I love you in the meantime. Bye.